Hello and welcome to the Mr. Rolling Podcast. As usual, my name is Jacob Staten, and as usual, I'm joined by JJ Armstrong. But before I ask JJ how he is, I want to briefly, very, very briefly say that when we last spoke, we covered off the Wolves and Leeds games. Since then, we've lost 2-0 to Villa because Voldemort's a clown. We had a semi-decent performance against United at home, lost 2-0 though. A very decent performance away at Liverpool, lost 3-2. Which leads us right to tonight, JJ. We've just played Brighton. How are you?
I don't even know how I am right now. I can't really comprehend. I'm almost speechless, lost for words, which is great when you're doing a podcast, but it's currently 9:45 on the Wednesday night after we've just beaten Brighton 3-1. And I'm on top of the world. How about you, Jacob?
Top of the world. Yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled. It was a very interesting game. If you can try for a second just to take the emotion out of it, I think a neutral would have really enjoyed this game because we flew out of the blocks, absolutely flew, and obviously we win a really early penalty, which. I think I'm, even with the rose-tinted shades off, I think I'm still edging more towards it was a good save rather than a bad penalty, although it's a good height for the keeper. But yeah, that's what I'm going with. But kind of the first 20 minutes or so, I thought we were absolutely fantastic. Then all of a sudden, bam, Brighton wake up. Brighton, they're controlling possession. They're just absolutely hammering us. And they get a really, what I think is a really lucky goal. I mean, Navas did make an amazing save from I don't know which Brighton player it was who took the shot, but it was a Mitoma cutback. He's absolutely skinned a couple of players, cut it back, and a great save by Navas. And then, he's palmed one straight out, and it's a bit unfortunate, but yeah, they kind of capitalised on their possession and pressure. Which I know, JJ, you felt quite strongly about, didn't you?
I think I went through it all in that first half. I mean, the first 20 minutes, like you say, it felt like tonight's the night we get a result out of this. And then after the miss, Niakate going off injured again, which is another 4 centre-back substitution. Which
he's playing well. He's playing well as well.
He was playing well, but I just, like, Worrell's been left out for a reason. You can argue all day whether he's good enough or not, but for whatever tactical reason Cooper went with tonight, Worrell wasn't in the starting 11. So to once again have him forced into the lineup off a 4 substitution, it is really frustrating. I think we've got really bad luck in that, but we started off well. Obviously, Johnson missed it. You can be as reasonable as you want, saying it was a great penalty, good save, but as unreasonably as I could be at that moment in time, considering the emotions, I was just absolutely fuming. Don't think I really have any right to be, because on the replay, I actually thought, maybe I'm wrong here. But I went through those emotions, and then we just switched off, I think. It just looked like a different team had just gone like that, and Brighton looked like they'd switched on, and that was the difference. And when you're within that, and when your emotions are that high because you're so desperate for a win, I went into that halftime break absolutely fuming, because it felt like, to me, if you boil it down to its sort of pain points, we were on top, we missed a penalty, Johnson missed a sitter, Brighton 1-0 up. That's it. That's what you could boil it down to. But then if you're more realistic and more level-headed, you could probably just say, which, like Jacob, great save, great defending to put Johnson off for his sitter. Unlucky.
Great defending. I said poor refereeing, but sorry, go on.
Fine. Well, it should have been a penalty, but whatever. Unlucky parry that it falls into the area for their goal. But other than the parry, they didn't really threaten that much. I know Navas had that good save. So that first half, I'm essentially, and still am, just all over the place. I just don't know how to think about it. Going into the first half, I was very grateful we got a goal back, but equally disheartened that it looked like it was going to be another one of those nights. So a lot needed to change for the second half, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think we've discussed it before on the podcast. Though it's that element of I don't like saying things like the element of luck, where not necessarily luck, but you work hard and you get it. And if you look at our, although it was an own goal for our equaliser, it was definitely an own goal. It was definitely a cross and what have you. But for those last couple of minutes of the first half, we were trying. We were trying to put play together. Taiwo was holding the ball up really well, knocking it. It was the kind of culmination of trying, in my opinion, the equaliser. And then we come out of the second half, and that's as close to a 10 out of 10 of a second half I think I've seen Forest play. A wonderful goal for Danilo. Great finish. Taiwo holds it up, lays it off perfectly. Taiwo looked absolutely knackered when he came off. So yeah, absolutely fair play to him. He made us look really, really different tonight. And I think Taiwo is definitely a poacher, but he certainly offers something as a even if it's an empty threat, even if it's just the fact that he's a big. He's not a lump, obviously, because he's quite mobile. But even if it's just the fact he's a big lump up front that somebody's got to mark, he offers something there. The penalty's 100% a penalty, 100%, and a great finish by Morgan Gibbs-White. They obviously had the disallowed goal right in the 110th minute or whatever it was. But yeah, that was obviously offside. And then the commentators saying just really nice things about us about, when the final whistle goes, we're not going to talk because you won't hear us. And it's really nice to know that that's about your club.
Yeah. I mean, if there's so many things to point out about the second half. If I talk about the roller coaster of emotions throughout the game, if the first half was a really up and down sort of bit of a thing, the second half was just rampant, I would say.
Yeah.
Taiwo is such. I think he's the difference to me. And I think he started to play like this prior to his injury, and he was making a difference. And I think we really missed him up top because, as you've sort of touched upon there, his goal scoring attributes. He is a poacher, yeah, sure, but he does so much outside of actually scoring. I mean, his hold up play and his running the channels and he's just causing a nuisance and being physical adds a different element to our game that I think we desperately need when we're playing the way that we currently are. So massive hats off to him. Danilo needs a special mention from me because I thought he was incredible tonight. He's looked really bright and really promising most times I've seen him. I think he's had the odd, maybe one bad game, but you can tell there's a real talent in there. And I really like his positivity that he's not afraid at such a young age to shoot. However, I wish he could shoot a little bit better. But there was an odd chance in the first half where he flashed it just wide. And there was another chance, which is we've seen a few times from him where it was just completely wide of the mark. But when I saw it was him through for the second goal, I almost couldn't really look because...
On his weak foot as well.
It's just one of those moments where time just stood still. I mean, fantastic hold-up play. Lovely layer from Taiwo. Danilo's pace, he just carried on going and time stood still. And it's one of those where the goal went in and I didn't even scream. I didn't even celebrate. I was just stood there or sat there with my head in my hands because I couldn't quite believe what was going on. Because I think we deserved that. I do think we deserved it. Yes, there was negative elements of our game that was frustrating, but Marinakis put out the big statement keeping Cooper in a few weeks ago saying results and performances need to change immediately. And performances have, but results haven't. And I think when over the balance of the last few weeks, I think we completely and utterly deserve tonight. To sort of end my spiel in general, Gibbs-White's penalty, I was devastated to see you have the ball. Gibbs-White may be the worst person to have in that situation take a penalty because of his technique. but also you sort of back him to score it. Probably similar to Lyle Taylor, where you just think, oh God, just hit it, please. You put me through pain. But obviously, fantastic penalty. And what my main point I was going to say is that crowd tonight. It is just phenomenal. You sort of, I think what strikes me and what makes me really proud to be a Forest fan, it's made me proud over the last few weeks, aside from a few that were Cooper out, but it's made me proud over the last few weeks of the majority of the fan base sticking by our manager, which is in an unprecedented back-in compared to normal football rules. You lose 11 games in a row, the mob's out. Not us. We sing his name loud and proud. We back him, and we're largely united as a club. For a club to be in our position in the relegation zone and to carry the team over and to be as loud as they were tonight, it makes you really proud. And to listen to the commentators say, like you said, we're not, when this whistle goes, we're not even going to bother speaking because you won't hear us. And to listen to the commentators just sort of say, wow, listen to this. This atmosphere is ridiculous. I just think massive hats off to Forest as a fan base. It makes me proud. And it's a shame that this game was in midweek because I would have sort of given anything to be there because it was really special. But yeah, I'm sorry for being very all over the place and not really concise in my points, but I'm still trying to fathom what I've just seen tonight.
Yeah, I think I want to make kind of 2 points around Steve Cooper as well, because I think when, like you said, when Marinakis came out and said, we're going to back him, but the performances have to change. You look at Villa, and if it wasn't for John Joe Shelvey making that mistake, I think we get something out of that game, because that first half against Villa was absolutely fantastic. I think they still had most of possession, but all the chances were ours. And as soon as that goal goes in, it's very disheartening, and that's I think why we're pressing to get an equaliser. That's why they scored the second goal. The Man United game again. I think first half we were. I think we deserved to lose 2-0 in that game, but I think we played against. Yeah, I think we certainly gave our all in the first half, if not the second half. Liverpool, if you can ignore the way the goals were conceded, losing 3-2, pegging, getting them back to a draw twice, and losing to a Mo Salah goal, and Mo Salah's one of the best Premier League wingers of all time, isn't he? Is really, really commendable. And then you look at tonight, and it's I think the goal on the stroke of halftime does have a huge effect, but they were already starting to turn the tide back around just before halftime. With you look just if anyone's got it on record or anything like that, if you look just before that goal, kind of rewinding back 2 minutes, the similar things are happening in that area of the pitch. Morgan Gibbs-White down that left-hand side with Taiwo and that kind of thing, that they're all happening. And I think that leads me to the second point around tactically tonight. We got it right. I think we had a discussion, didn't we, before the game kicked off when we got the team sheet around, it looked like we were playing 2 right backs, and we were, because that was the best way to deal with Mitoma. With Aurier at the right centre back, and obviously we had to change it around a little bit with Nick Carter going off, so that Joe Warren had to play left centre back rather than right centre back, which he normally plays. But I just think tactically really right to know. There's one point where I was looking, I think that, I can't remember if they had a goal kick or a free kick in their penalty area or something like that. Basically, we were playing 5-1 with Mangala, one singular person in midfield, 3-1. That adds up right. 5-1-3-1. I think that adds up right. It was just nice to see that for once it worked in our favour. And yeah, I just think tonight, aside from that, there was like the 25 minutes, the second half of the first half, we got bullied, and we came out, and it's almost like a recognition of they played 120 minutes on Sunday. If we just get about them, we can break the spirit, and that's exactly what we did. We broke the spirit, really well really astute tactically, forced them into mistakes, and it's now all on, isn't it? It's no longer doom and gloom because we've picked up points.
I think we've got it tactically right for the last few weeks, and I think Villa are a very good club. We had no right to do what we did against them, to silence them as much as we did. And John Joe Shelvey's mistake, that game was Spirit and fight bookended by stupid mistake. And I think Liverpool was spirit and fight bookended by 3 stupid mistakes. That's not on Steve Cooper. That's individual player errors that aren't doing their job correctly. And that obviously sounds negative after tonight. I don't fully mean that, but that is just what it is. Cooper's got it right. He set us up both times to get something out of the game, and save the sort of Shelby error, I think we would have got something out of the Villa game. We were set up correctly for that, to at least get a point away, which at the time would have been huge against a team that are still pushing for Europe. Yep. Liverpool, whilst they've been struggling, we deserved a point out of that game, I think. You expect to lose against Liverpool, so I will take it. With a performance like that, when you already expect, I'll take it all day. Not forgetting that if someone told me at the start of the season you'll be in the Premier League and you'll play Liverpool twice and you'll both get 3 points, it won't be 6 points Liverpool. Great, I'll take that all day long. And let's not forget Brighton, whilst they may have played 120 minutes, they are pushing for Europe. They are a very good team. The players they've got are fantastic. They held Man United at arm's length for the whole time. And I think possibly they were the better team in the FA Cup. They showed their class tonight as well. They had 75% possession, and that isn't the be-all and end-all of football, but let's not kid ourselves that they aren't a really good side. We've not won tonight because they're struggling after playing 120 minutes. We won tonight because we got it tactically right. We showed fight, and the fan base was on our side. I looked at that lineup before the game, and I said, yeah, that's the strongest team I think we can put out at the minute. I agreed with it. And Cooper's making these big decisions at the minute, and he's getting them right. Dropping Brennan against Liverpool, massive decision, but it worked out well. Playing Aurier right centre-back with Williams to suppress Mitoma, right decision. And also got the best out of Williams, who had a fantastic game. And it's worth saying within this sort of little spiel that it was a real shame to see Williams stretch it off, because he had his best performance in a Forest shirt tonight. He showed character, he showed strength, and he did that against Liverpool as well. And I feel like it's so unfortunate, because I feel like he's on the rise and he's on the up. So hats off to you, Nico. I think you showed massive effort tonight. The Forest fans obviously appreciate it, and it's a massive shame that he got stretched off. But it played to his strengths. He played really well. And also the Villa game, he was playing really well as well. Anyway, but he made that decision. He made that decision tonight. He's dropped Freuler, who was previously the captain in absence of Worrell. So the captain on the pitch tonight was Aurier. We had Worrell on the bench.
Looked like the captain as well. Looked like the captain.
Fantastic player. Aurier coming back is massive. The start of the season when we got Aurier, I was moaning.
We both scoffed, didn't we?
I was moaning so much. Why are we doing that? It's stupid. He's a bad character. He's a bad egg. He's not very good. He's inconsistent. He's one good game and 5 shit games, and he's going to get sent off every week. That was what I felt. I was so wrong, and I'm happy to admit that I'm wrong. He's shown real character. He seems like he's connected with the club. He looked like a captain tonight. He looked like a leader, and we're better for him being in the side.
Yep.
Yes, the last few games... Sorry, I'm still talking. Sorry, Jacob. The last few games, we've lost. And you can look at that on paper, and you can sack the manager, and you can say Cooper out. But if you actually watch those games, if you watch those performances, you'll know he's the right man for the job. And I'd just like to say, at this moment in time, we might still go down, sure. But anyone that's Cooper out or was Cooper out, you can shove it up your arse. Thank you.
I think if you look at a manager, and I think that's a really good point, JJ. I think if you look at a manager in a bad situation and you go, I think there's three things, and I think you need two of them to consider being sacked. And if you get all 3 of them, you definitely need sacking. Is you're losing games, you're losing fans, you're losing the dressing room. He's only losing games. He's not lost the fans. He's not lost the dressing room. And now he's winning games. It's almost like a new manager bump, isn't it? And I know we got it before the World Cup when they came out and backed him. And I feel like the performances were the new manager bump recently, if not the results. But yeah, I think it was an absolutely fantastic performance. Tactically very, very astute. Like I say, Nico Williams absolutely fantastic. Keylor Navas made some amazing saves.
Danilo.
Felipe personally for me is my man of the match. Who's your man of the match? Sorry,
Danilo.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic performance. Mangala, brilliant.
Yeah,
doing the kind of dirty work. Joe Worrell played well.
A filthy little moment when Mangala was in the middle of the pitch and he was losing the ball and he did a little, lovely little bit of skill to get out of it. Naughty.
Yeah. I'm struggling to think of anybody who played particularly badly. I mean,
Brennan Johnson, is that harsh?
That's very harsh, mate. It's very easy to say that he missed a penalty and he missed that one-on-one, which again I think was a penalty because he got pushed in the back. And
killed Nico Williams.
Yeah, I know, but I think let's say for example he gets sold next season and he goes on to somewhere else, and whatever happens, I think we will very quickly realise what we're missing. He scored double figures for us this season. And, he's still really young. This is still only his second full season. He's nowhere near the finished product yet. He's a burgeoning international, playing at World Cups and things. There's so much more to come from him. And you asked me before the game would I could carry on dropping Johnson. For me, him and possibly Morgan Gibbs-White are those players for me that we should start every week.
Yeah, the only reason I asked you that question is because I think it's a very delicate balance tactically, because it works so well, I think, and it was a big call against Liverpool. However, we are at home, so I think it's a difficult decision to make, particularly when it looks like we keep getting overrun in midfield. So do you sacrifice Morgan Gibbs-White, a Taiwo, or a Brennan? And I think out of the three of them, I think Taiwo brings something that we need. I think Gibbs-White is always got something in his locker, and Johnson has as well. Johnson is a really important player, but out of the three of them, if I'm being completely brutally honest, he would be sort of the one to drop, and I think he got that right, Mr. Cooper. He saved us this year. If we stay up, it will be largely due to Brennan Johnson's goals, because there was a period of time where he was the only one that could score. So we do owe him a lot.
I think it's that. It's just keep with it, man. It's.
This is my honest. This is me being completely honest here. Within a game, within 90 minutes, I go through everything with Brennan Johnson. I love Brennan Johnson. I'm so glad he's playing. To Brennan, I hate you so much. Don't really hate him, but I'm just being dramatic here. To, oh my God, Brennan Johnson, you're the difference. To, Brennan, what you doing to me? To Brennan Johnson's world class. I go through everything with him because that's the type of player he is. But I think it's more noticeable in that position because you have the big chances.
Yeah,
I was only being obtuse when I said that he was a bad player tonight. I don't really believe that.
I want to throw my holy waters of realism on the whole Brennan Johnson thing and say that if he was performing let's say he scored 20 goals, 25 goals. Let's say all these chances that he gets, all these penalties. I say all these. The two penalties he's missed, and the chance tonight, and a couple of other chances that we know that where chances where he's shot instead of passing, and because he's not the finished article, he's still a young man. If he was taking those, he already wouldn't be playing for us. He'd already be playing for a Newcastle, a Man City, an Arsenal, or something like that. So it's just that kind of holy water of realism, just to say. He is that man for us at this level. And let's say for example, we stay up this season, we stay up next season, and he doesn't progress, he doesn't get better. Then then fair enough. But I think for right now, he is well and truly the man, and very similar with Morgan Gibbs-White. Taiwo, I think, is going to flourish if we can get a full season under him. It's just. If we can just stay up, I think that and don't get me wrong, I'm not. I'm disappointed if we go down. I'm not like throwing me under a bus disappointed because this has been a magic season. But if we can just hold on and stay up, there's so many opportunities to improve and in on and off the pitch that I think it's incredible.
That sums it up perfectly for me. It's just the hope, and if we go down, fine. You know, everyone wrote us off anyway. It is what it is. But a lot of people on Twitter are acting like the world stops. We're in a much stronger position than we ever were. We shouldn't have gone up last season, really. Nope. If you're being really brutally honest, we shouldn't have. But going up, even if it's a sort of season out, and we got to experience it, which I thought wouldn't happen because of what previously happened with Forest, we're coming down in a much stronger position with parachute payments. We'll hold on to a lot of the good players that we've signed. We'll be strong in the Championship. You don't necessarily always come back up, but I don't think it's going to be 23 years till the next time we come back up. That's what I think.
No.
However, I think the summary is, if we can just stay up, if we can keep Cooper, for me, I would love to keep him. If we can keep Cooper, if we can keep the core of this squad, if we can have a full preseason, if we can make sensible recruitment decisions in the right places, this squad has a bright future. It's not quite there at the minute. There are a few flaws. Fine-tune it. I think it will be a really exciting time to be a Forest fan. Our future as a club hangs in a balance in that I think next year we get it right. And this is obviously fucking stupid to say when we're only just out the relegation zone tonight, but I think next year you're looking at 12th onwards as a progression for this club if we get it right. Looking at top 10, and who knows from there. But it's just, it could go either way at the minute. However, Jacob, as we speak, Nottingham Forest are out of the relegation zone, which is absolutely gigantic.
Yep, huge, absolutely huge. Which I suppose brings us into a big match next weekend against Brentford away.
This weekend,
yeah, of course, yeah, this weekend. Brentford, I don't think they're playing for anything anymore.
No,
I don't want to. I don't think they're not necessarily playing for Europe, are they? I think they've had a.
Well,
yeah, they're not playing for Europe, are they?
No, they're not. They're 2 points behind Brighton, but they've also got 3 games better off than them, so they're not. They're
still having a fantastic season, but yeah, they're safe. They're they said what more could Brentford want, I suppose, than 9th. That's exactly where we want to be, isn't it? In kind of 2-3 years' time. So maybe I'm just filled with three tins of lager and a optimism that will never be dampened. But I've got a little sneaky feeling, Joshua, that this could be another fun weekend. No, I'll let you go first. What are you going to say, Josh?
Brentford before tonight, I think they lost their previous 6 games, or not lost, they haven't won in their previous 6 games. So they're capable of being got at. I think they're a really good club, but they're not really anything special. They're just ran really well and have an arrogant manager who does really well with them. So Brentford is I think, an easier game than tonight. Tonight it was the much harder game of the two. And if we can pick up 3 points tonight, if we can play and carry on the momentum from the 3 points tonight and carry on the away performance we displayed against Liverpool, we should be going to Brentford. Jacob, your video's off.
Oh. One second.
Technical difficulties. We should be going to Brentford with full of confidence. He's got a different angle. Who knows what's going on now? We should be going to Brentford full of confidence with our heads held high. And I think I still can't really be too positive away from home just because of how it's been. I think it will be a point. I think it will be a draw. But I do think we can. I don't think you should go into it like with no hope. I think you should hold your head high and think this could be it. And if we got 3 points from it, we're well on our way. It would be massive. So I've given every answer of we could win, lose or draw, but I think a point in the end. But it's certainly one we should look to pick something up.
Yeah. So you're going to draw. You're gonna name me a draw, Joshua?
2-2, high scoring draw.
2-2.
A Desmond, the Jordi Otze.
Desmond. I'm going to go with a. I'm going to go with a 21 Jump Street. I'm going to go 2-1 Forest.
21 Jump Street, right? Okay. I mean, please God. I think the worst thing that could happen tonight, tomorrow night off the back of this is if Everton somehow beat Newcastle and we're back in the relegation zone. I can't see it happening, but you never know. It's the Premier League.
It's not possible, my brother. It's not possible.
But I think, let me just bear with me. This is very unprofessional, but I'm just going to look online. Our games after this, and this is the key period for us right now. We've beaten Brighton tonight, which I think is massive. Brentford is gettable in terms of points. We can get at them. Home against Southampton is a massive. We should be looking at 3 points. It has to be
3 points. Yeah.
It has to be 3. That is a definition of a must win. And then the one after that is Chelsea away. Now, it would be a joke to say this at the start of the season, but that you could definitely pick something up there. Arsenal at home, right? You can write that off as a free hit, but we're at home. I've already said
that'll be the game. That'll be the game.
You've said, fine. But then Palace away, they'll be on the beach by then. That's something we can get something from. Tonight's win is so big that the future now looks optimistic. You're looking at these games and you're thinking, maybe. It would have looked a completely different picture before this. So please, God, don't give up. Don't say that people are happy clapping because they're getting excited about tonight, because it's massive. There's so many negative people that support Forest, and I'm one of them, but there's so many negative people that support Forest. Look ahead at the fixtures. I think we can pick up 6 points at least, and I think that'll be enough this season to keep us up.
6 points, is that what you're going for?
I think we can get more, but I think the 6 points is there, and I think that'll be enough.
I think if Newcastle beat Everton tomorrow night, I think 4 points will be enough.
That's a very low point, Sally.
That is very low. There's 15 points left, isn't there? But that's just my opinion. I don't think it'll take much, but it's just, you look at the table now, it everything changes, doesn't it? Everything changes. So yeah. So I'm going to go 2-1 Forest for Brentford. JJ, you're going for a Desmond?
Yeah, 2-2.
Lovely. Okay. Well, we will be back after the Brentford game, Joshua.
Yes, we will. We will.
No, you've heard it first. If you're listening for the first time, thank you for sticking with us, finding us, and sticking with the show for the entire length. If you got this far, if you've come back again, God will love it. It's